Good afternoon, everyone. It's the one, the only, the illustrious ape, the gorilla in the econo mist. Coming to you live on another edition of the Trading Terrordome with none other than the prolific man, the maven of the HFTs, the one who puts the put in put, the one and only Dex the Algocapitalist. Dex, what's up, buddy? How are you?
What's up, my man? What's up?
I'm hanging in there, man. I'm counting down the last 48 hours of Barry O saying goodbye, being na 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 na. I'm gonna pop some cheap champagne and get ready for some MAGA. All sorts of trade agreements are being written up as we speak, so it's gonna be a new day. The market, I think it's gonna moonshoot, man. Starting next week, I think we're off to the races. Gold's been on the
hmm
move in the last 8 weeks, bro. It's been pretty tremendous the growth that we've seen there. So there is some things to talk about. Not a whole lot, bro. Not a whole lot, but there are some things. Uh, so
Yeah, well,
uh,
let's talk about the gold. Let's
let's do
start
it.
there.
Let's do it.
Uh,
You do it, bro. Do you think?
I, Everyone has been noticing. This is now we're on week number 4 of 4 straight up weeks,
Yep.
and it's right there at that first resistance line I've been telling everyone about in my videos, and we're gonna test it and see if we can get up to the 1235 level somewhere around there.
Yeah.
That's going to be the major resistance, get us deep in the Kumo cloud of death. And from there, it's probably just going to move sideways for an extended period of time because the Kumo cloud is very, very, very thick. If it breaks out of the cloud, though, then we're going to see a return back up to around 1340,
Hmm.
1350, and it's probably going to do it rather quickly because there's a steep ramp at the top of the Kumo cloud, and that acts as an acceleration point in bull markets. So that could be something rather significant. And as you and I have talked about in the latest news regarding gold, there's still trillions of dollars on the sidelines waiting to enter this market. So what are you going to do with that? It has to go somewhere. And we know that's going to make the price shoot through the moon. I know that the so-called economists on YouTube have been saying that based on current economic policies that is bearish for gold because of the interest rate situation, but they don't understand that the markets and traditional economics is divorced from reality and
Hmm.
has been for some time, and we're under a different economic paradigm now. And I think it's going to take a while for people to wake up to its reality. A lot of people are really struggling because they're holding on to these old norms that just don't exist anymore.
Right.
They don't want to admit that grandma is dead and
Not Granny.
she's beginning to stink.
No.
You need to get her out of the bed and bury her. Excuse me. So they don't want to admit that. And I think that before long, people aren't going to have a choice because it's going to be in their face, and you just can't ignore reality. Case in point, I saw someone had done a video talking about the gold manipulation and how the market's manipulated, but it's no excuse. You can still do this and do that. But their whole argument was divorced from the algorithmic paradigm of the equation. They don't want to talk about that. They don't understand it, or they just don't want to talk about it. And if you don't have the full view, the full picture, then you're going to be at a disadvantage. So yes, the market is manipulated. So then they had a guy come on who was supposed to be an insider. He worked on Wall Street. Everyone seems to have worked on Wall Street. If everyone was working on Wall Street, then who was flipping the burgers at McDonald's? I'm just wondering. Um, so,
Robots.
and then
Robots.
yeah, right. And then he says, "Oh, the markets are not manipulated. That's just something that people make up
What?
for
Who the
whatever."
hell said this?
And I was like, "Man, these
Yo,
young
who said
people."
that?
Some cat, man. He didn't show his face. I don't know who he was, but
He said the markets are not
he
manipulated.
said he says Mark is not manipulated. He worked on Wall Street, and that's just something that they say. So
What was he working on? The IT department, I
I
assume.
don't I don't I think he probably walked past Wall Street on the way to work. And no, he's saying he worked
Maybe
on
he
Wall
was
Street.
maybe he
He,
was a high frequency mail boy.
I don't think so. I
Really?
think he ran one of the stands, selling the hot dog or something. But if he did, he would have had money to put in the market, and he wouldn't be saying that because he would have made money in gold back when Peter Schiff was telling everyone they should get into it. Around '07?
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on. So I'm listening to this nonsense, and I'm like, wait a minute. What about the breaking news on mainstream media of Deutsche Bank admitting
Yeah.
that they have been manipulating the metals along
Yep.
with JP Morgan and Goldman Sachs and everyone else? What about
Right.
that?
Right. Oh,
They
that
they
doesn't exist.
admitted it.
But that doesn't exist. The fact that they're actually leaked memos of them saying, "Hey, when the price is up, we knock it down. When it's up, we
Yes.
knock it down." Their own words saying, "Hey, look, we are the silver market. We are the gold market." And it's all fun and games playing the paper manipulation. But if you listen to like guys who are actual real insiders, guys who are like PhD economists, like London Paul,
Hmm.
who's been we've been doing a series with him every Monday, who
Hmm.
works who's basically at the center, the nexus of the entire emerging gold trade settlement with China and with Russia and what's really happening with the realignment.
Hmm.
There's no way you can say that gold's heading into a bear market and the market's not manipulated.
Look, man. So not only that, but then you have to also ignore all the other white papers that have come out about it. You have to ignore me, and I had a Series 3. All right, which for those of you who don't know,
It is the
that's your
hardest test, my
that
friend.
that test is a beast. It's for
120
trading
questions.
commodity futures,
Yep.
120 questions, and you have 3.5 hours to do it. Now, for those of you who had your Series 7, you're probably like, man, that ain't not Series 7
Okay.
was 7 hours all day long.
Hmm.
Yeah, the body of knowledge that you had to have was a lot more, yes.
Right.
But I bet your bottom dime that you would not be able to pass that Series 3. We had economists in all types of walks of life. People failed that thing multiple times before finally getting it. It is tough. There's all types of hedging and things of that nature
Hedging
that
is
is
important.
not covered in your Series 7, my friend.
Correct.
So, at any rate, unless you've been on that side of the camp, you don't know what you're talking about. Um, so, I'm listening to this. I'm like, wow, just about everybody wants to have a soapbox and talk, but they don't know what they're talking about.
Hmm.
Then I ran across another news piece, and that was this morning. Now, for those of you who don't know, I did an interview last week with the X22 report, and I was explaining about Dow 50,000, Dow 100,000, and I use a little tongue in cheek there. I mean what I'm saying, but it's a little tongue in cheek in there. So then, guess what I saw today?
Hate mail.
Mainstream media. Are
Oh,
you ready for
mainstream.
this?
Yes.
The heading, the heading on the Business Channel: Dow 1 million.
Well, anything is possible.
Oh,
You,
I'm not done yet.
right.
You want to know why this one was powerful? Because guess who said Dow 1 million? Guess who even called Dow 20,000 and Dow 10,000 and 12,000 years in advance? None other than the man himself, Sir John Templeton.
Mm.
No one said he was a nut. One of the greatest investors of all time. Most people have their retirement with his funds, Templeton funds.
Yep.
Very old vanilla type companies. So,
Hmm.
with that said, if so, when he says it, oh well, that's Sir John Templeton, who was knighted by the Queen. Of course, he knows what he's talking about. But when all I did was say Dow 50,000 or 100,000, and I'm a nut.
Hmm.
But he said Dow 1 million, and he's
Mm.
cool. Oh, this is news. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, for those of you who don't know, who are out of the know because you didn't work on Wall Street, let me just let you know that Sir John Templeton back then, and still is to this day, was the man. When he spoke, people listened because he knew what he was talking about. As a matter of fact, he called the financial crisis years before it happened. And he even got specific and told you what was going to happen and when. And he called this disintegration of Freddie and Fannie before it happened.
Hmm.
And he said when that happens, then all this other stuff is going to happen. He was absolutely 100% right. So yeah, this dude was the closest thing you can have is to a Wall Street prophet. All right, he is the man. You can ask anybody who was in the know who worked on Wall Street for real in a trading or analytic capacity, and they will tell you Sir John Templeton uh, taught them a lot. They learned a lot from that man. All
Hmm.
right. So anyway, moving on. So he called all this stuff before it happened, and people still praise him to this day. I was just explaining that based on the new money paradigm and the printing thereof, and how it is going to deepen the chasm even more from reality and what's going on with monetary policy, that you're not even going to realize what's happening, right? People who don't understand, who have college degrees, who have maybe taken classes in economics and things of that nature, they don't understand what we are saying to them, because a lot of them are new and they're young and they haven't lived in these times past, so they don't know what we're talking about. They have no point of reference.
Right.
So when they hear us talk about these things, of course it sounds Greek to them. They don't understand what we're saying.
Hmm.
Like, for instance, they'll say, "Oh, if the Dow is 100,000, that means that we have Zimbabwe dollars." Oh, calm down.
No.
Back during the dot-com bubble, the valuations were ridiculous. Some of, I mean, they were in the hundreds and hundreds of percentiles and 1,000%, just ridiculous PE ratios. Some of them they could even make one up. They had to create a PE ratio for it because it was just unprecedented. Well, we're going back to those eight.
What
Really,
was
we
the
never.
Well, do you remember what the PE ratio was back then? I
Dude,
forget.
some of those stocks they were like 400. I mean,
It
it
was
was just.
asinine, dude. And
No, I'm serious. It was somewhere in the thousands. I mean, you tell me if all right, we're talking about a technology that doesn't technically exist yet. They just created it. It has no peers. It has no market share because you don't even know what the market is.
correct.
And you're going basing it on future earnings. Some of these companies were selling like 10,000 times earnings. I'm not kidding. It was so absurd. It was to the point where all you had to do was walk into an office, show that you go to an Ivy League school, have write down your idea on a post-it note, on a sticky note, and walk out of there with $100 million for your
Yeah.
idea. I'm not
Right.
kidding.
No, that's exactly what it was. I remember having these arguments years ago. V, you don't understand. MotherNature.com is worth $175 million.
Yep.
What do they do? They're a website. They talk about natural products and stuff. Okay, well, what do they make? Well, they technically don't make nothing. Okay. Where are they based out of? Oh, the founder is currently operating in his mother's garage. Runs about he's got maybe a server rack that he put together using some old IBM 86 processors. But the company's worth $175 million. We expect a total 10-year cap of 1.5 billion. MotherNature.com will be the top earning company in a matter of years. Feed you just watch, and that's how it was with every man. I remember driving around and seeing these high school kids who create these stupid .com ideas, right? And they're riding around, and like at that time was a brand new car. I saw one kid, he had like a brand new Honda S2000, great car, love that thing, right? And all of a sudden, his license plate pulling out his it says "Young CEO" on the back of his car because he started some .com thing. I'm like, what the hell? What the hell is going on here? It was crazy, man. Crazy valuations.
Mm. Well, all I have to say is they ain't seen nothing yet,
Yep.
because the next technology to come out, man, I'm telling you, it's going to be ridiculous. Um, if I might, if I just want to pause for a second and deal for just a few things real quick.
Yep.
All right. I think people either misunderstood or just don't comprehend what I said about the NASDAQ 100. So I just want to touch on that real quick. All right. Because we're at that precipice now, that fork in the road, what I said was that either the NASDAQ 100 is going to continue this up move and make 5,000 the new floor of support on its way to 5,100. And then we will not take out the 5,000 floor again. We will not close below that. Or it's going to fail to do what I just said, and it's going to close below the $5,000, the 5,000 point mark. And then the market's going to nosedive because that's a double top. I was not saying, oh, the market's going to go up or it's going to go down. That's it. That's not analysis. I gave specifics. I explained to you what that means. It takes time for markets to build daily and weekly bars to show you what's what. But I'm giving you specifics. I'm saying the market needs to continue to close above 5,000. It cannot close below 5,000. If it does that, that is a red alert sign that we've double topped, and now stocks are going to take a nosedive. That's what I said specifically. So listen to it again. I said it, 5,000. That's your mark. All right. If it does manage to stay above the 5,000, we are looking at the beginning of a new bull market that the likes of which no one has ever seen. And it's going to make the one back in the 20s and the one back in the 90s look tame in comparison.
Yep.
That's what I said, and that's what I mean, and that's what I'm sticking by it. It's all in the charts. If you disagree with what I am saying, then I invite you to come on over to pulsewavetrading.com, get yourself a subscription, come into the trading room with other traders from all around the world, see what we're doing and how we're doing it each and every day, and you can follow along with us and make some money in the process. See for yourself. You know, don't just come in and say, well, this guy's a nut. I don't believe him. Nah, take the challenge. Come see for yourself. Don't just listen to me on an interview and make a decision. Come see the product. Come see how the pulse waves rock. Because I'll be the first to tell you, hey, I'm a human being. I have opinions too. Yep. But opinions don't make you money on Wall Street.
No, opinions are like buttholes. Everybody has one.
Everyone has it. I don't use my opinions. I don't trade my bias. We all have biases. We all have opinions. Your bias doesn't make you money on Wall Street. I love precious metals and gold and silver. Right?
Yeah.
But just because I do it doesn't mean I don't sell it short.
Mm-hmm.
But you won't know that here on the show. Because we may be talking about a particular situation based on what's happening in the market at the time that this broadcast is going on, or based on yesterday's close, and market conditions can change right after this interview and change all my opinions and what I said. But regardless of what my opinions are, and regardless of what I say, we use a system at pulsewavetrading.com called Pulse Waves. The Pulse Waves are updated daily and tell us how to get in and out of markets, what to buy, what to sell, and when to do it, and how to do it. Yep. So regardless of what I'm saying out of my mouth, at the end of the day, I'm sticking to the platform. I'm going to stick to the system. It doesn't matter what my bias and opinion is. Based on research I'm giving you when I come on these shows, I'm sharing with you the research. I'm sharing with you the analysis. But analysis can be wrong. As a matter of fact, analysis can be wrong more than it's right. You don't make money on Wall Street by analysis alone either. Again, analysis is just an opinion. It's an informed opinion, but it's still an opinion. You have to have a mechanism for extracting wealth out of the market on a consistent basis. And that's what pulse waves are. And I just want to explain that to people, okay? And I don't try to predict or prophesy anything. It's just analysis. Here's what the analysis is telling me. Here's what I can expect from it. It doesn't tell me when. It doesn't give me a specific date. I look at price. All right. And most of the time, price is divorced from time. All right. So it's just price. That's what I look at, price. All right. If you want to know the specifics of what I'm saying, you need to come over to the trading room and you need to follow along with what we're doing. Then you can see for yourself and you'll say, oh, okay, now I get it. But don't just listen to me or anyone else on an interview just because what we're saying may sound good or may sound crazy, and then make your opinions based on that alone. That's not research. That's not doing your due diligence. You feel me?
Right.
So anyway, I'm off of that. The other thing I want to talk about was this election thing. Dude, I cannot tell you how much fear porn has come out in the last week. It seems like no matter what, even when the predictions are proven wrong, they don't come back out and say, hey, I was wrong. Hey, I was wrong. They just find something else to fearmonger about, which is ridiculous. And then the biggest thing now is, okay, well, Obama just federalized the election. So now they can say that Russia hacked the election, so the election is not valid, and we're going to go ahead and suspend this whole inauguration thing.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
It's not.
Yeah. But before the fear peddlers are putting that out.
Yeah, they're saying that it's not going to happen, or a false flag is going to happen.
Martial law is going to be declared.
Yeah, come on. Why now? Is it really that bad? Excuse me. For that to happen would be them admitting that the shadow government is dead, the powers that be are dead, the rulers that rule things are dead. They all just died. Come on, that's absurd. We all know that it doesn't matter who's in the White House. The agenda is still the agenda, and it's still going to go forth. I mean, duh. So, moving right along with that, I don't think anything's going to happen. I think he's going to do what he do, and that's it. I even saw a report saying that they're going to surround the Capitol and the White House, and so he can't enter in, and all these protesters are going to be there blockading. Come on. All right, if protesters were that powerful,
protesters are like some of the biggest pussies in the world. Give me a break.
If they were that powerful, and that's all they had to do, why couldn't they do that at the Federal Reserve when they were doing the audit the Fed thing?
Right.
Crickets. If it was that powerful, why can't they do that for all the other injustices going on in the world? Just form a barricade, people, at the next G7 and G20 and G8 meeting and the next Bilderberg meetings. That's all you have to do. Let's form a circle in the barricade and prevent them from going in there. And we can shut this down. You know why? Because they know that every last one of those protesters will be shot. We'll have a Tiananmen Square all over again. For those of you too young to know anything about a Tiananmen Square, just Google it and you'll see that's when they opened fire with live rounds on unarmed protesters.
Shots
shot
fired!
Them dead on live TV.
Shots fired!
Yes. So that's what the government does when you cross it. They shoot you, and they will shoot you on live TV. That's right. Or one of my favorite quotes from one of my favorite movies I watch with my wife, my Big Fat Greek Wedding, when he said,
"Oh, great,
we'll kill you, make it look like an accident." So that's what will happen.
You make what?
Well, he said, "We're gonna kill you and make it look like an accident." So there you have it. And so that's why I don't listen. I mean, I hear what they're saying, and I'm like, all right, whatever. But it's just more fear porn because at the end of the day, who wins?
Exactly.
Who wins? All right. So they tell you this information. Now, what are you going to do with it? What good is this?
Well, it will allow them. It will motivate them to go run into their basements and start eating cat food, bro.
Yeah, right.
Or go into their bunker and start eating cat food. Wait for the SWAT team to come through the door.
It's always something, though. And then, okay, well, if he does make it to office, they're going to shoot him. Why are they going to shoot him? Why are they so threatened?
This is like that crap years ago where, you remember that whole Jade Helm BS?
Yes.
Oh, God. Every week I was getting email. You don't understand, V. You don't talk about Jade Helm. Like, it's because it's BS. Huge far-reaching conspiracy. And that's exactly why it's not going to fail. There's a billion utility companies that are involved in it. Come on, you can't pull off a scheme like that in front of people. Oh, no, it's Jade Helm. If you look at here, these are the shoes. These are symbols of jade shoes that are used on the symbol of Jade Helm. And the jade shoes represents the Illuminist leprechaun. and this leprechaun is comes out between the times of March 3rd and June 19th, according to the Freudian slip calendar. And that's a secret calendar in case you didn't know, where the secret handshakes are done over the calendar to figure out when this leprechaun is going to show itself. So this is how we know that Jade Helm is going live. It's a martial law lockdown, V, and they're going to shut down all the power to everywhere, and then you won't have the internet anymore, and it's all over. Okay.
They can't predict and call nothing.
No.
If that was the case, then a false flag that came out and happened since 9/11, and the heads up on it before it even happened.
Right.
And we don't. It's after the fact analysis. What good is after the fact analysis? You didn't prevent nothing. All right? You prevented nothing. Anyone can sit and do after the fact analysis. It doesn't make you deep, it doesn't make you smart. It makes you basically just a fearmonger of news events, chasing news stories and using clickbait and trying to get your likes up and your views up on your YouTube channel. That's all it is. And it's just so many people now. That's another thing, man. Now I'm thinking about it. Have you noticed how, remember, everyone was making fun of the mainstream media when our eyes were being opened and we were saying, hey, how come all of you parrot the same things? Going back to 9/11, of course. Remember, every channel, every news story was saying the same thing word for word as the whole thing was unfolding. Remember that?
Okay. Yes.
Well, guess what, man? I don't know if you noticed this or not, but the alternative news now is sounding worse parrots than that. Every YouTube channel, they're all spitting out the same.
They're all talking about the same horse crap, man. You know, the funny thing is, man, it's like, how many unique guys are actually out there, doing unique things, encouraging people, giving solutions, and telling you. You can count it on one hand. It's just a handful, bro. It's just a handful. It really is. Everybody else is parroting what the other big idiots are saying.
Yeah, and
martial law back down. This is how they're going to assassinate Trump. And then at that point, Michelle Obama will declare martial law, and she will become the new empress in the new United States of America.
And it's the same people, the same talking heads, who just go in a musical chair and do their views. Every channel has the same guests and the same everything, and they're all saying the same thing. And guess what? If you go against what they say, you're a nut, and all the trolls come out and attack you because you are not towing the line. You are not believing what they believe and saying what they want you to say, which is messed up. I thought the alternative media was all about alternative thought. What happened with alternative thought? So you're not allowed to have an independent thought of your own, an alternative theory on something?
No, it's called alternative fear porn. That's what it is.
Yeah. Like, all right, here's another thing. Trump, right? It's not cool if you are not an Anglo-Saxon to say, I like Trump. You have to say you're against him, even though you don't know why and can't really lay out a full thesis on why you don't like him. You just have to do it, or you're going to be alienated by your group, which is ridiculous. All the rappers and entertainers are coming out saying, we don't like Trump. I have yet to hear one say, or a group of them say, nah, we like Trump. I voted for him.
Kanye.
He's on, and look what they did to him. They threw him in the nut house.
Yeah, he's crazy. Some seriously off with this guy. Kanye, we need you to go back and do whatever you can to keep the black community down. But don't say you like Trump.
I don't understand it, but in a way I do. And to me, it just shows too what the media bias really is, because they're all doing it though. It's in unison. That's how you know it's a coordinated effort, because you can't say it.
No, can't.
You can't say it. I'm still waiting for someone to explain. Excuse me, why they don't like Trump. Even you and I, a few shows ago, remember we had our little debate, and you were saying why you like Trump and voted for him, and I was saying why, how I didn't, and but at least you were able to explain what you believed and why you believed it, and I did the same thing. It wasn't
Right.
just, well, you're stupid and you have a big head, ha ha, because you like
Yeah.
Trump. It wasn't
Exactly.
the little immature kitty stuff. You know what I'm saying? But that's what you
I
see
don't
on the
like
other
him. Why?
channels.
I don't like him. Why? I don't know.
Because he's a
I don't
racist.
like his
Okay,
policy.
how is he a racist?
Name his
Show me where he's
policies.
a racist.
Yeah.
That's the new thing now. He's a racist. You know that, right? He's a racist.
Right. He's racist.
So let me get it.
He's
So
racist.
because he's Anglo-Saxon, he's a racist, but he does and believes in the same things that Obama believed in,
But
but
Obama's
Obama's
cool though.
not a racist. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not understanding that. I'm just saying. So for me though, the jury's still out on for me. I need to see what happens when he gets in office and what he actually does. But I will go on record to say that he kind of frightens me a little bit
Hmm.
because I know him to be on a personal level to be a shrewd businessman, and in a way that's a good thing because America is not a country; it's a corporation. So wouldn't you want a CEO-minded person at the head of it?
Yeah. Exactly.
And he would be perfect for
Hey,
that because he's a great
did you just hear
businessman.
this? GM just announced that they're announced a $1 billion U.S. investment. They're bringing back their truck axle business back from Mexico.
No, I didn't. No, I didn't hear that
Yeah,
one.
yeah, the truck axle business, which is huge, by the way, is they're bringing it back out from Mexico and back into the U.S. because of Trump.
All right.
Crazy.
Someone just we gotta deal with this. Hold on, because all right. Someone just wrote, if interest rates rise in a Trump administration, how can stocks go to 1 million?
Go for it.
Okay. All right, here we go.
Break it
Let me
down.
ask you a question. Were there any companies in the 1980s that made a lot of money?
Of course, there were.
Were there any record profits that you know of in
Uh,
any particular space, just off the top of your head? I can tell you one, but do you
I
know
can
of
tell you.
any?
Yeah, GE is one of them.
Okay, GA. Okay. So along those same lines, you do understand that all companies made a pretty good penny too, especially with the embargoes and everything going on, right?
Yeah,
All right. So,
with the highest interest rates at that time.
oh, you jumped ahead of me, man. You
Yeah, I'm
cheater.
sorry. I'm sorry. Go ahead. But you can give the
All right, but since
details.
you
I'm
opened up
sorry.
the can of worms, can you tell me, sir, uh, on average, what were the interest rates on average back during that time, sir?
16%, bro.
I'm sorry, how many percent?
16%.
Dude, do you know of any stock mutual funds that are giving a 16% return today?
Yeah. In fact, I'm starting one. It's called the Gorilla Martian Fund. I'm starting an exchange in Mars that will be giving you a 15% return on your interest. All you need to do is donate your fiat currencies to me, and we'll make it happen.
Okay, then. So we had a bull market back in the 80s. And as a matter of fact, one of the famous movies that I liked was Trading Places with Eddie Murphy.
Yep.
And let me see here. It was based on a commodity trading firm that was making oodles of money in the market. So, yes, it doesn't matter what the interest rate is, companies are still going to make money. And you want to know why? Because they control, these Fortune 500 companies control commerce as you know it. Every time someone drives their car, well, everyone in the energy sector gets paid. Every time you drink water, anyone who is associated with the water company is getting paid. All right. So pretty much every time you breathe, someone's getting paid. So it doesn't matter what the interest rates are. Again, you would think, because that's what they teach you in economics class, when the interest rates go up, it makes it hard for these companies to make money. No, man. Remember, interest rates don't mean anything to anybody.
No, it
Interest
doesn't.
rates only matter when you have to go into a bank to borrow money.
Yeah.
Not
And the
all
whole
companies need to borrow money.
Right. And the also thing, I mean, that time now you had like what, anywhere between 12 to 16% interest rate, 12 to 14%, right? It was asinine high. Even then, what was the LIBOR? Anybody talk about what the LIBOR rate was back in the 80s? Because
I
that's what's
have
really matter,
I
right? I mean,
haven't
the
the I
LIBOR
haven't the
rate,
slightest idea, but I can tell you this: since we're talking about the '80s and getting into 1990, 92, ask me who was flush with cash during this time. Do you remember that teeny little company called Microsoft?
hell yeah, dude. That was
They had
Microsoft was
billions in
juggernaut.
reserves. Does anyone
Juggernaut. They were the
remember?
Apple of that time.
Does anyone remember another little teeny mom and pop company called Wells Fargo Bank, who had so much money that they were considering taking over for the Federal Reserve? Real talk. This is
Yeah.
real talk. So, not all companies need to borrow money. Your interest rates only affect you, citizen, because you're the one that needs to go in to borrow money to buy a car or to buy a house.
Right.
And don't forget, corporations are taxed at a far lower interest rate and tax rate than the average citizen. And most companies don't pay taxes at all.
Yeah.
So the whole idea of interest rates,
Not only
rising
that, man.
rates hurting companies,
Yeah.
dude, that is foolishness. It has
If you
nothing
look
to
at the
do with reality.
ratios, and here's another thing: if you look at the ratios, and this is just look at this ratio real quick, right? Today, LIBOR rates like what? Like in the 1%, 0.4, 0.5, 1, something like that. It's freaking low. Okay, but
Right.
it's in direct proportion. It's at almost at a 3-to-1 or a 2-to-1 rate to whatever the way the interest rate is, right? And the Fed fund rate is the same thing. There's always a ratio. There's a ratio at play between the two. So back in the day, in the 80s, okay, we had like an average 12 to 14% interest rate. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Um the LIBOR was around 6. Okay, it was around
Mm-hmm.
6% on average. 6, 6.3, 6.5 around there.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes it hit 7.
Mm-hmm.
The Fed fund rate. The Fed fund rate was around 6%. So you see,
Right.
that ratio hasn't changed. It's always like half or more of whatever the interest rate is. If the interest rate is 12, the LIBOR was 6. If the interest
Right.
rate was 16, the LIBOR was 8. And then the
Mm-hmm.
Fed fund rate would be like 6 or 7 or 8 because it's closely behind. That ratio hasn't changed. It doesn't change. It's always adjusted accordingly. So,
Right.
look at the current low interest rates we have. LIBOR rate right now, let me just look that LIBOR rate up. Because I just don't know what it is right now. Okay, but the LIBOR rate right now, okay, right now it's here we go. Okay, it's 0.41.
Okay.
Okay, that is the overnight London interbank overnight rate right now is 0.41.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what is the interest rate? The interest rate right now is 0.25.
Mm-hmm.
So you see that the ratio hasn't really changed. It's so that's the whole thing I'm trying to get at. So in terms of the financial aspects of it, not it's not going to change. And then you're going to have a much higher market, like the Dow 20, 30,000 point Dow, that's going to, set in very well with this.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what people don't realize. Like, oh yeah, high interest rates. Okay, but look at everything else that go along with it. Look at the Fed fund rate. Look at the LIBOR rate. Look at the
Right.
fact you're gonna have a higher market. Those ratios do not change. The only, like what you said, bro, you hit the nail on the head. The only thing it affects is you, Mr. Joe Public.
Correct. Because what they're going to do is, even if they're plus that LIBOR rate, again, that's the rate that the banks are charging each other to borrow money from feds, and corporations are just a little tad bit higher than that. But that's it, a tad bit.
Yeah.
They're going to, for every quarter point raise in interest rates, they're going to hit you and I, Joe Public, with multiple percentage rate points, 2, 3 points on a loan. So if their rate to borrow is 1%, the rate for the average Joe Schmo is going to be at least 5%, because that's how they got to make their money.
Yeah.
So, but I want to jump ahead now to something else too that I said in that last interview that people didn't get. I was also letting them know that once this market does get running, because we haven't seen nothing yet. If all things being equal, this Nasdaq 100 does do what I expect it's going to do, and it's going to jump to the moon. It's going to bring back all the retail investor people on the side.
Yep.
Now, The argument that they threw back at me was, well, they don't have any money. Okay, let's explore this. If the average Joe Schmo on the street, and I'm going to be very generous, I'm going to say that the average, we're going to go 18 years old to our age group. Let's say 18 to 50. Let's just throw a big wide net up there. All right, 18 to 50. Okay. So from 18 to 50, you're saying this retail person doesn't have any money. All right, let's explore this. First of all, that's not a true statement. That is a misleading statement, because if they didn't have any money, our economy would have collapsed utterly and completely, because no one has any money and our economy is based on spending. All
Well, there's
right,
a
so
lot of extended credit. I mean, let's not
we
forget
just
that.
killed that. We just killed that.
Hmm.
So it's not that they don't have any money. What you probably meant to say, the naysayers, I'm talking to the trolls now, is that the average retail trader, would be investor, has less disposable income as they used to. Okay, I'll give you that. But what my point is that, be that as it may, it still has not curtailed Joe Schmo's spending. Their
Hmm.
spending habits are still the same. And I'll tell you why. Did not Nintendo just
I
record
would get out
profits
of my
on
head.
Pokemon Go?
Get out of my head. I was just about to bring that up, and the fact that
Alrighty
their
then.
new console just sold out everywhere.
Oh, see, now you jumping it. Now you in my head. Okay, see now the gloves coming off, dude. I went to the GameStop over the
Can't find it.
weekend because I wanted to, inquire, just inquire, and they had a big sign on the door saying, "We have reached our limit for pre-orders for the new Nintendo Switch."
Yep, can't find it anywhere.
Now,
Don't
for
have it at
those of you who
Walmart.
don't know,
Hmm.
who are not in the know, the system retails for $299.
Yep.
Okay. The average stock that we have been talking about sells for pennies on the dollar. Gold and
Yeah.
silver mining shares. Some of
Hmm.
them are literally pennies. With $299, you can pretty much buy 1,000 shares of a penny stock.
Hmm.
Mmm. Mmm. So, with that said, is the average Joe Schmo really broke? Let's explore deeper. Every
Well,
time the latest iPhone comes out,
I was just about to say that. Go
are
ahead,
they
man.
not sold out?
Yeah.
And
I
depending
mean,
on where you
I mean,
get your iPhone, that could set you
uh,
back $1,200. I've seen on eBay.
bro, easily, man. I just got myself a jet black iPhone 7 Plus, 256 gig. That is $1,000 phone.
Okay,
Okay,
so
it's
$1,000.
yep.
See, we're not done yet. I'm going in. I'm going in. Do a search on YouTube. You will find that there are many people out there, young people too, in their 20s
That
and
are
even
rocking iPhone 7.
teenagers. They will
Yep.
say, "Yes, I'm an official what sneakerhead."
Oh yeah, sneakerheads. And
A
how
pair
much
of
of them Air
sneakers could
Jordans?
set you back $5,000.
Yep.
Come on here. I know dudes that have hundreds of pairs of sneakers
Yes.
unworn in a
Yep.
closet, in the box.
Behind behind glass.
Yes. And a fist fight will break out if you touch them.
Yes.
So, can we go deeper? Let's go even deeper. Let's go deeper. So, we've discussed the iPhone, we've discussed the Nintendo Switch, we discussed the sneakers retailing upwards of $2,000, $3,000, $5,000.
And sold out.
Sold out. Every
Hmm.
time the new Jordans come out, do
Sold
you
out.
have this size? No, we don't have them in your size. Sorry. Sorry. You're
I
done.
always have problems with that. I could never find shoes that are my size. They all bite all.
Let
Eh.
me go further. Let me go further. Go to any high end retail store such as Louis Vuitton, Do you see people just standing around in the store? No. You know what you're going to hear? I'll be with you in a moment as soon as I finish with this customer. That's what you
Yeah.
hear.
Or even better yet, man, go to the Apple store. It's always mobbed. It's so mobbed that I take a ticket, I wait. I'm like, I go across the street to the Microsoft store, and it's just because it's dead there. I mean, even there, I mean, you got people, but the Apple store, which is like high ticket items, high end,
Right.
it's always mobbed.
Oh, better yet, go to Best Buy and go to the Apple section. You're gonna say, "I'm sorry, I'm waiting. As soon as I finish helping this customer, sir, or is there something I can help you with in the meantime, or answer a question?" Or this one, my favorite store of all. What's my favorite store? Come on, what's my favorite store?
Best Buy.
No, no,
What?
that's on the list, but it's not my favorite. What's my favorite? What's my favorite store?
Your favorite store?
Come on, yours and mine.
GameStop.
You
What?
know it. GameStop.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Are you ever able just to walk in and out of a GameStop in under five
No, it's
minutes?
always mobbed.
Okay. I'm sorry, you said it's always what?
Mobbed, man. It's always
Say
mobbed.
that word one more time for the people to hear it.
It's always mobbed. And
Okay.
this
The average PlayStation 4 game costs on average, what, 50 bucks?
$63, so that's with tax. And that is, and each system is sold with an attachment rate of 3 to 4 games.
Mm. And after you buy this game and you put it in your system, what is one of the first things you're probably going to end up doing? Spending what?
Online
VC.
services.
VC.
Yep. Yep.
You're going to buy VC.
Hmm.
You're going to buy like a madman. You're going to do it. And if it's 2K17, say bye-bye to your wallet
Hmm.
because you're going to spend VC. I'm sorry. You're going to spend it whether you play online or not. You're going to spend VC because when you try to build your My Career Guy up, it costs VC unless you just want to struggle and just slum through the thing and slowly at a snail's pace, and no one wants to do that. So gotcha.
Yep.
And yet you say the retail man doesn't have any money. Okay, well, how come every time there's a Kanye concert or some tickets sold out, sold out?
They have money for a lot of expendable things. So imagine what would happen if all this frivolous stuff that people are spending on actually redirect that to their own wealth creation.
So then, what you're saying is, then technically speaking, the average retail investor is not broke, or
Yeah,
even if he is broke, he's not
the
acting like he's
average.
broke.
Exactly. We're not talking about those who are unemployed, the 95 million that are permanently unemployed. We're not talking about that. We're talking about the average person that can.
Well, hold on. I am.
Yeah.
I am. I'm talking about that person. Yes, I am. I'm gonna
What?
throw them in there too. Want to know why?
Throw
The
who?
average, right now, without putting anybody on blast here on the radio, you can name at least one person that you know that is unemployed that has an iPhone
Oh
that
God,
works.
yeah. Like almost everyone.
All right, you can name a person right now. I'm sure in your head that has on the latest pair of Jordans who does not work, who does not have a job.
Right.
You can think of a woman who has had her hair and nails done who does not have a job.
Man, I remember years ago when I lost my job. I remember sitting in the unemployment, looking around, seeing if this before I decided, hey, I need to do something else. But I remember a woman sitting there, unemployed, collecting her unemployment bag. She got a Louis Vuitton bag, the whole 9 yards, dressed to the nines. I mean,
See,
come on, man.
see, and we know a Louis bag, thousands,
Yeah.
thousands. There's nothing in a Louis store under $1,000. There's nothing in a high-end retail store, period, under $1,000.
Yep.
So once again, where is the money coming from? I could tell you, you go to Tyson's Corner Mall and in Tyson's Corner, Virginia, and you go in there and you see all these high-end stores. You see the Louis Vuitton, you see the Prada store, all of them all in a row. You can call it the local Rodeo Drive. All these high-end stores. Why is the mall always packed? And why do all the dudes have their chicks caked out, glammed out, all of them, head to toe, looking like supermodels, Prada head to toe, whatever. Why is that? And I'm talking about young people. I ain't
Hmm.
talking about middle-aged people. I'm not talking about people my age group. I'm talking about the young people. I saw with my own eyes. I know what I'm talking about. So, what's up? That's all I'm saying. What's up? How is that possible? If you're saying the average retail person is broke, they're not broke. They're just uninformed. I don't even want to say stupid. I'm going to say uninformed. And the ones that left the market back during the crashes we had, the epic crashes in 2000 and 2008 and 9, they just got spooked to death. But they still got money. They still have money. And believe it or not, some of them are still quietly trying to play the markets. Because, I'm going to share a little secret with y'all. Once you have any experience with the market, you get bit by that bug, you ain't staying away. It's almost like, anything else in life. Something that you enjoy doing or whatever, you're not going to stop. You're going to find a way to do it. You may not be able to do it on the level that you used to do it, but you're going to still find a way to do it. And again, I'm not saying the economy is not in trouble. I'm not saying that people are not severely underemployed today. We know
Which they
that
are.
that's true.
Right.
What I'm just saying is, like, I think you said it so eloquently, and it was that people just need to learn how to redirect their money, their
That's it.
spending. If they took a different mindset, hey, I'm going to start investing in myself and in my future, then they would do it.
Right.
Now, I know that malls are closing up all over the world. Malls are becoming a thing of the past. We know that. Stores are going out of business. But we got to break that down too, because not everything is what it seems. Okay, take Macy's, for example. If Macy's has 10,000 stores in the United States and they close 1,000 of them, would you say, oh man, poor Macy's going out of business? No, they're
No.
just cutting back. They're not gone. They just said we're going to close 1,000 stores. We have 10,000. We're just going to close 1,000. We'll have 9,000 now. Would you say that about yourself? Would you say, oh no, so and so is homeless now because you saw him throw out one of his old couches after he went out and bought a new one?
Mm-hmm.
I saw his furniture in the corner. Dude, he was just throwing out his old furniture. He hasn't been put out. You know what I'm saying? Don't jump to conclusions just because you see certain things. Okay.
Yeah.
That's just how it is. Now, yes, the economy is screwed up. Yes, people are broke and struggling and poorer than they ever have been before. I'm not saying that. I'm just trying to prove my point about markets. Even when people are in their most desperate times, they will still try to do things to better their situation and their circumstances. If they really knew it, if they really knew that it could be done, they're going to do it, including going down to Vegas and playing the slot machines. People still do that too. Who do you think's playing the slot machines? It's not the rich people, it's the poor people. Who do you think is standing in line when the lottery is at its all-time high? Who do you think's standing in line? It's people who are underemployed and unemployed and employed. Everyone's trying to hit that number so they can better their lifestyle.
Absolutely.
If they got money to buy a lottery ticket, again, it's only $1, right? And in some places, no, it's like $2 now because you gotta pick this and that and box your numbers or something. I don't know, but so even with that though, if you add up how much money they spend, there's some people who buy lottery tickets every week, and they do that for 52 weeks out of the year.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a minimum of at least $52 they're spending a year. And what did we say? There were stocks trading at pennies on a share. Pennies a share. You can buy a couple of hundred shares of stock for that. So you can still do some things. You can open up a micro forex account with O&A. There are things that can be done. And I'm not telling people to do something that I have never done before. I'm only telling you things that I have done. Yes, I did. All right. Things I done even when I was a schmuck. And I tried. I was learning. And when I was in my research phase and trying things, I had to do different things. I had to literally go out here and do things. When I had to prove certain aspects of the model that I was building, I literally had to go out, regardless of how much money I had to test the theory. I said, okay, let me take $500 right now, open up an account, and let me see what happens with the model. I had to do that. You may think it's ridiculous, but there were certain aspects of the system that I was testing at the time, and I had to do it. And I'm telling you, I was able to double that account in a week.
Mm-hmm.
Don't tell me that it cannot be done because I did it. Now, if it was something that I had never done before, I can't tell people that something can be done because that's not being honest. But because I did do it and have done it, and there are other people that have gone before me who have done even bigger things. Don't forget Richard Dennis. He took $400 and turned it into $400 million in 10 years. And that is documented. Yes, he
Definitely.
did.
Yep.
Yes, he did, trading the markets.
Yep.
So it can be done. You just have to educate yourself and get out of this fear porn paradigm. Because at the end of the day, after you've stored up all of your MREs and your water
Cat food, all the cat food.
and cat food, now what? You just sit and wait for Armageddon? Or
That's
do you
it.
say, you know what? I still
No,
have
you
to
gotta
pay
wait
for
for the
my
SWAT
bills.
team, dude. You gotta wait for the SWAT team to come through the door. That's what you're supposed to do.
Exactly. So I'm just saying, man, I
Duck and
want to.
cover.
People think that, I get accused of being a fear monger, but on a
Well, yeah,
different
you
variety.
are.
They
You're
say I'm
such a
the most
fear
negative
monger.
person they've ever heard.
You Mr. Dow 50,000. You fear monger. You fear porn peddler. You.
And they say I'm Eeyore. I am Eeyore because everything I say is so absolutist and final, and I give people no hope. They don't get it. I try to stay in my lane, and I give you hope from what it is that I do and what I'm doing. So that's what I do. I can't tell you about anything else.
Yep.
As far as fighting the government, I'm still going to tell you that there's no hope. You're done. You should have did it a long time ago. What's going to happen is what's going to happen. And to me, we're on a faster train going that way now than ever before. But as far as the markets are concerned, they ain't going nowhere. They're here. Take advantage of them while you still can, because it's going to be a lot harder to buy gold when it's $10,000 an ounce than it is now when it's only trading at $1,215.50 an ounce.
Well, you're a gold peddler now. You're obviously selling gold.
I am not a gold broker of any kind. I have no relationships with any of them. I do not get paid to tell people to stack gold or precious metals and silver or any kind. Uh, I don't, because that's not what I do. I trade paper markets.
You're not telling people to take out a second mortgage and buy
Nope.
gold.
No, I'm not.
Because there
Because
are
you know
idiots
what?
out there that do that.
At any moment, like clockwork, the central banks can come in and smash the price of gold.
Mm-hmm.
When I say smash, I mean smash. They could do what they want. I've seen it on multiple occasions where they smash the price of gold $100 in a matter of minutes.
Mm.
And they can do that again anytime they get ready.
Well, that's
So
because they're selling all that physical in the open market, man. It's all fun and games until China says, "Yeah, enough's enough," and
I'll
then
put it
it's
to you like
over.
this. The same people that like to harp on people like us are
Mm-hmm.
the same ones that if they were driving behind an armored truck and gold bricks start falling out of the back of it, I guarantee you they would pull their car over and stuff their trunk with as many of those bricks as they could get their hands on.
Yeah, exactly.
But yet, gold is
Exactly.
not money, though, right?
No, it's not just worthless.
It's
It's just
worthless, right?
worthless.
It's
It's a
just a yellow.
barbarous relic. It's
Yeah,
a
so
barbarous
it's a yellow rock. Whatever.
relic. Exactly.
Let me
And
see.
with that
Let
being
me go
said, my
outside
man.
and see that.
Yeah, right. With that being said, we have come to the end of the broadcast. Dex, plug your work, your services, and how people can contact you, my friend.
You can hit me on YouTube at Algocapitalist, or you can come to the website at postwavetrading.com. Learn to trade the markets, learn to hedge your gold and silver physical holdings and learn how to pimp the paper markets just like the central banks do.
Fantastic. With that being said, folks, and I am V, the illustrious ape, the only ape in this game. There's no other monkey besides me. And if you follow me on roguemoney.net, at Twitter, at oh my god, what the hell is wrong with me? I'm jumbling my words. Lack of dark roast, bro. That's what it
Oh
is. I need
no.
to go get a Starbucks fix.
Yeah, you
Need to
do.
get a Starbucks fix, man. I really do. I really do. But you can follow me on Twitter at the Rogue Money, and also our Facebook page. And if you are in debt, you know somebody in debt, the only service we offer is myfreedomnow.us, which helps you improve your credit score. That's it. We are over and we are out. And CJ's not with us. So I can't say take it away, CJ. So we're out.
Peace.
Later.